A primer on female self-esteem. Let me start with an unpleasant but necessary truth. There are women losing their jobs right now. Esteem, value, and existence for a silent guy. His gaze when addressing them. The worst thing, darling, is that many are blissfully unaware. They fantasize about love because of need. They seem to have forgotten love. A valuable woman attracts attention. She seeks love. If you have a painful stomach, not right now. A rumbling inside may indicate a problem. I've been undermining your agency toward your rightful existence. I've been unclear for over 40 years. Expert in clinical psychology. Every possible thing has been presented to me, including the reduction of smart, successful businesswomen and loving mothers, women who dim their light for men. Furthermore, I am not referring to, by weak women, I don't mean powerful women who made small compromises over time. That seemed irrelevant. Continuing my last message, I'll explain. Accepting money without affection is demeaning. Consider such compromises. They're like unseen woodworms in my life, eating till everything is culminating. I'll paint a familiar image here. Imagine this. 11 o'clock. You are in bed, staring at your phone. You check your phone 5 times. Check for a response. By no means. He hasn't responded to your message despite being online minutes ago. As you start, cognitive gymnastics. He may be busy, asleep, or his phone died. And, though excellent at rationalizing, you know the truth. If you were my top priority, I would have contacted you sooner. You're afraid to accept the answer because doing so will entail. Admit that you've been wasting your money on someone who doesn't care about you. Oh my goodness, that hurts. Can you explain to me the mental process that goes on when you do this? A mechanism is set in motion that in cognitive psychology calls as cognitive dissonance. Your brain can't handle. There's a mismatch between your behaviors and what you believe you ought to do. You rationalize by making up reasons. Constantly choosing to remain in a poisonous relationship is like hearing a voice in your head saying, it's better to stay in a relationship even if it's toxic. Instead of addressing reality, I lie to myself. In the meanwhile, over time, self-esteem steadily melts away, much like a stone submerged in water. I have news that will affect you. If you continue, without eliminating energy-sucking habits, you'll finish up. Your self-esteem will suffer beyond losing your partner. No, the most essential thing you'll lose is yourself. And when a woman becomes concerned with approval from outside, what occurs when it violates its values to please someone is. His departure with another woman is heartbreaking, but the emptiness you feel afterwards is worse. In the dark, unaware of your past and joys before him. The worst news is that he will never seek you out. Not the women attracts men. Ladies, why settle for second best? She pleads, fearlessly declaring, what pains me most about this situation? Your refusal to give me what I deserve is unfair. That these extraordinary women often lose themselves. Working women, mothers, and winners. Challenges that would knock anyone down, but then a person turns up, someone who didn't even. She loses all power when he reaches her level. Because nobody ever. They get anxiousness, control difficulties, and neediness. He taught them that good love hurts, but doesn't take away, which was crucial. Rest. Healthy love is calm and shared. So tell me how frequently you've checked his phone when he's not looking. Consider all the times you've lied to yourself or lowered your standards to avoid them. To sacrifice your dignity, ideals, and aspirations for his proximity? The most important question is, what if he found out? What will he think? That you're a stunning, confident woman? My darling, no. He'll think, you're a desperate lady. Therefore, I know desperation is anti-aphrodisiac. The strongest one known, but it's not only about how he sees you doesn't matter. What matters is that you do. She starts seeing herself that way. She feels like she must beg for love, and when she gets used to it, she breaks when she accepts less than she deserves. Some part of him that should say, hey, you're worth more than this. She stays, patiently expecting his transformation. I value his realization, but my life, the truth, and putting yourself first is hardest because no one would appreciate you otherwise. You suffer and explain. Time passes, and you seem unaware that you stay the same year after year, repeating the same things until you're 50, 55, or 60 when you realize you wasted your prime years looking for a mate who could love you the way you needed. I won't tell you, sweetie. People never return it. The meat is coming, so pay attention. You must understand what I'm about to say today. Nope. So instead of 5 minutes on superficial topics or self-help advice, you have these practical, evidence-based resources, influenced by CBT in my clinical practice, and in the 7 components make up human behavior research. Unique activities a valuable woman would never do with A. If you can identify which of these behaviors you're doing and pledge to stop now, doing these will transform your life permanently. I'm serious. Your life will alter forever because I promise you will regain power and wholeness. Men notice a healthy woman. When it wafts through the air, the man who ignored you starts to find you or have real men show up with you who accept you as you are. Before we discuss those 7 issues, please understand. I want you to understand. Our actions and motives for staying in unhealthy relationships emanate from you. Mine, dear. It involves brain wiring for the needs connection, attachment, and affection. When you like someone, a chemical is released by the brain when sparks appear. Chemical message released into brain after eating chocolate or feeling wonderful is a dopamine response to an unexpected message from a loved one. Living the now offers immense joy in your brain, like an addict desires more. You act to acquire another dose because he wants one. All your messaging and searching pay off when he responds and hints at what you're looking for. Your intellect is rewarded. However, there's a catch. If the tension fluctuates, if they react sometimes and then ignore you, your brain enters intermittent reinforcement. Reinforcement, my intermittent lifestyle, creates addiction the most. You keep playing slots since you don't know when the jackpot will hit. Meaning of high-value woman? Attempting. Addiction increases with reward inconsistency. Women can form stronger bonds with rare abusers than with chronic abusers. Kind men who continuously act. Because the brain isn't merely stability and survival were its main design aims. When considering survival, something unexpected appears. Something predictable. All about evolution. Our ancestors had no choice. Be watchful for unexpected life threats. The brain gives such disparity great weight. Complex like something that takes constant attention. The issue isn't that you're a masochist, wimp, or enjoy misery. It's that your brain is outwitting you. Undeveloped modern interpersonal survival methods. And until you grasp, repeat the same things if you can't see your ideas. Countless times. I want you to remember something forever. Recognizing the need for change is the first step. Today, you must ponder with me because you cannot change a pattern unless you recognize it. Listening carefully and thinking thoroughly. Patterns in your relationships because many of you silently realize something is amiss. That's fine with them. They may not know, but seeing it would make them act, so they don't. Confronting and acting on it is scary. Isolation is terrible. In times of uncertainty, it might be scary to let go of what is familiar, even if it hurts. We'd rather suffer the known than the unknown. And so, that is the worst cognitive prejudice, my love. Status quo bias means liking the status quo. Let things stay as they are, no matter how unpleasant. To avoid change, I need you to speak something aloud. Despite being alone in your room, peaceful love, respect, and adoration are my due. I deserve serene, reciprocal love, and more. I deserve respect and reciprocity. I repeat, my tranquil, reciprocal love deserves respect and gratitude. Did you feel anything? Remember when you said it? Did your chest flutter when you uttered it? That small voice murmurs, but I don't really know if I deserve it. My darling, that's the point. Not that you don't value yourself. You mistrust its accuracy. Your doubts may be decades old. You've received conflicting messages for years. A message from a culture that values meek, obedient, unselfish women. Memories of bad relationships or your own. Family, your youth, where you learn that caring for others is more important than yourself. You can imagine restricting beliefs and ideas pile like an onion in your head. Self-criticism, including thought about your worthiness, capacity to ask for what you want, and job. My sweetheart, real labor goes beyond new habits. We must dissect these notions till we arrive. Your whole being, which is always known as importance. Years of social brainwashing buried it, but now you know why and do it. How can you face the truth after realizing your brain may deceive? Please openly and honestly explore those 7 areas where women, no decent woman dates a man. I'm telling you this because you will remember times when you've done things that hurt because you will see yourself in them. Just what I'll advise against. That's okay. Discomfort is typical. As they say, there is no such thing as a painless birth. My love, you are about to birth. First thought when a valuable woman will only follow a man. He is neither pursuing him or aggressively interacting with him. Messages, calling, and asking about his whereabouts, hobbies, and friends. You'll say, but Walter, I just want to know about him. But I already know. I say, no, my love, you're not there. And you say, I want to keep in touch. Maintaining contact is distinct from begging. Good relationship communication is participatory. You respond to my letters and calls. Respect and equality are present. But when one person always makes first contact, it becomes troublesome. While waiting, you may wonder, why hasn't he written to me? When it happens, conversations cease. Persecution can kill a man's desire faster than anything else. I mean this seriously. My decades of researching male psychology give me first-hand knowledge. You must feel conquered, pursued, and successful. We won biology, not sexism, was involved. Millions of years later, men have always been hunters and breadwinners. Master, our DNA encodes those patterns. It can be annoying when a woman is too interested in us or simplifies things. Caveman hemispheres darken. The threat is over. The sweet taste of triumph and the thrill of victory are gone. I'll refuse if you say this is applicable today, or that women. Allow me to clarify. I'm not saying women can't be interested. No, they can lead. So women shouldn't sit idly by like princesses in towers, but they shouldn't wait passively either. He wants to show that interest is distinct from desperation. High-value women show interest softly. Being approachable is different from pursuing. She gracefully accepts his invitations and jokes. She answers his texts without hounding him. She's making up reasons to meet him. She won't act foolishly to catch his eye because she knows. Respectable women would never condone them. He knows in his heart he'll find her if he's serious. Without seeking her out, he'll show his disinterest. In case he's not interested, then he's not her guy. Just that easy. Many women don't think so. They often think, what if putting in more effort may change him if I show him I care and am more available? Viewpoint. My sweetheart, he will not change his mind due to interest. True interest is encouraged, not demanded. Interest grows spontaneously. Chemistry, connection, and compatibility-based relationships. If it didn't exist, no amount of persecution can change it. Something from my profession has happened 1,000 times. Women term calling and engaging a man pursuing. He becomes a companion after much coaxing, and she feels, I won. I convinced him to be with me. I wish I could, but partnerships terminate after 6 or 12 months. He never provided his all. He was there for convenience and accessibility. I should have said yes instead of continuously declining. But I wasn't there because I loved her. Finishing now. My life is like building a house on sand, precariously balanced and liable to fall. If you're caught pursuing someone, what should you do? Stopping is simple. Stop immediately. You decide not to call or message him and cancel the plan. Stop worrying about their WhatsApp updates every 5 minutes and live life. Study your assignments carefully. Discuss your passions, interests, and hobbies with friends. When he shows interest, your absence will make him wonder, why aren't you around anymore? He will find you. If he doesn't, you may have saved months or years of suffering. It was useless. Now for the crucial phase. Stopping the chase will refocus your attention. He'll panic. What are you doing? You're going to lose him. You have to, you must act, dear, so be brave. Disregard your inner worry and trust the process because, thus, you rewire your brain and break the oppression loop. Your recovery is underway. Regarding this, many women may want men to escape being alone, not out of love. Because they hate being alone, they'll grasp onto anything that seems like love, no matter how phony. I find life depressing. Relationships based on fear. The trap of isolation is fatal. Imagine being in prison yet thinking you're free because you have company in this cell. Loneliness is nothing to fear. You can learn a lot alone. Real self-discovery happens when you stop trying to please others. Express yourself via your passions. In addition, inner peace is necessary. Only after mastering solitude can you go on a date. When one partner can meet their needs alone, the partnership thrives. You depend on others for validation. You're in a relationship because you love it, they enrich your life, or you both want to be with you, but not because its absence will be disastrous. This is the second item. A respectable woman would never condone her abuse. Not at all. All violence is abuse, not just physical assault. Each petty slight, each contemptuous gesture that many women tolerate it since they don't consider it a serious issue. It may cause issues. Poor communication concerning tardiness. He suddenly cancels plans. A moment, in public, he trash talks you. He doesn't introduce you to family. He disappears for days without explanation. You sound like other women when he talks about you. He downplays feelings. He creeps you out when you try to grab his attention. Let me know. Justify, say. You say, he had a difficult childhood. He has a lot of stress. The job, lack of emotional expression, is a fundamental issue. Only in his heart is he, close to perfect. I say, so what? If she's decent at heart, an individual, who cares about their origins if they're mean to you? If it hurts you as an adult, is it hard? Yes, I understand. Not a problem. That everyone suffers from catastrophe at some time. No matter how difficult their stories, disregarding or mistreating others is wrong. I understand that he must heal himself, fix and save him. Nurse syndrome affects many women. They spot him, injured and hopeful. I can fix it. I can help him. I can do the healing with my love. They mend. Sad emotional rescue mission that never ends well. Nobody can save someone unwilling. He wants to save himself, and trying to alter him will weary you. A valuable woman cannot justify diminishing herself by losing herself. She needs respect, not conditional regard, and is mistreated. Respect depends on the other person's mood, not daily. Always there for her. If a guy can't, thus, he is gone from her life. Though it's hard to hear, I can nearly hear you saying, Walter, that. We all make mistakes and have bad days. Nobody is perfect. They're right. Nobody's perfect. Anyone can make a mistake. But there's a difference. It's more like a pattern than a one-time rudeness and apology. Genuinely and changes their behavior. On the other side, someone who despises you and utilizes their influence over you. Apologies. The trouble is that many women miss the difference. Because they are foolishly idealistic and hopelessly addicted to love, they cannot see reality. People ignore warning signs in hopes he will change. Even when people deny or ignore them, they're there. The worst option is words without action. In a committed relationship, words matter more than actions. Anyone can express love, respect, and value to another. The phrase me is useless. Deeds matter. His anger toward you, what happens? How does he handle your arguments? What happens when you insert? Top limit? How does he react to wrongs? His actual character emerges then. He's human. Such circumstances may involve passive aggression, disrespect, or both. Dear, when gaslighting manipulates you to question reality, you are manipulated. No amount of love can win over a poisonous man. Improve your fitness. No amount of tranquility helps. That will change him. True change comes from within. Outside, how should one react upon realizing they were justifying? Is it abuse? First, recognize it. Say it, I've endured. Detecting emotional manipulation, actions that cannot be accepted. Next, identify them. Make a list of specific actions. Finally, announce your limits, not clear. Meaning, they can negotiate by doing X and you do Y, or they can walk away. Finally, respect those boundaries since a partnership needs space. Dangerous guys don't limit it, but hint it's unfulfilled. They cherish recommendations. I'll also share a counterintuitive yet correct viewpoint. Yes, setting limitations shows self-love and love for others. He does too, since you're saying it's okay to mistreat him while you do nothing. Your acts show he can treat you badly if acceptable. You won't be punished. He then gets worse until he reaches. The partnership can't last forever, but setting limits helps. By saying, "This is as far as I go," you limit their growth. To mature and improve as a man. He may use it with her, but not with you. However, you contributed a part of it. Please stop. You may excuse maltreatment while being empathic. His wounds and roots are obvious. Challenging narrative while absolving yourself of responsibility. Though you feel terrible for them, you may also take care to avoid injury. True compassion requires self-compassion and self-love. For the third point, a woman from. Her identity and significance remain strong. Being herself, her interests, her relationships, and her desire to never be alone with a man. My darling, this is epidemic level widespread. How many people have it? Some women have a busy life with friends, projects, and hobbies, then suddenly stop. Finding a man makes everything else evaporate, including friendships. After hearing his perspective that it's worthless, they stop their favorite hobby. Professional goal, since he needs their availability, and gradually, without. The saddest part is that they shrink into a shell of their former self as they accept it. Sometimes they don't have to. They do it voluntarily because they think it demonstrates love and dedication. But nothing in my life is that. Giving up who you are to love is commitment, not annulment. Giving up your essence makes you resentful, unhappy, and hollow. You're more than a companion, spouse, or parent to me. You are a multifaceted individual. Your social roles include friend, sister, daughter, and professional. That is, you are an artist, athlete, reader, or whatever else makes you distinct. Experience life. When you devote yourself to one relationship, your creation becomes a time bomb when you put all your eggs in one basket. Period. As initially you're heavily straining. Their relationship. Are you stupidly hoping he can make you happy? Nothing a person can do about personal, social, and cerebral needs. Execute. 0. Pressure and duty are tremendous. Thus, you should expect disappointment since he will fail. Having a strong feeling that he's not meeting your needs. This is impossible. Second, when you're immersed in. One partner stops being themselves with the other, and you change, appealing to him. That full woman drew him to you. An autonomous woman with her own hobbies and life path. His partner is engrossed in him. Therefore, she has no conversation starters. Since he gave up on what made him happy, his eyes have lost their sparkle, and all she can think about is him. That kills the need. Men don't want satellite women. We want planet women, women with their own orbit, gravity, and light. Their invitation is to join their universe, not to ladies who want to. About us since having your own life, your own. Hobbies, personal interests, interesting conversation starters. Your life experiences and zeal are contagious. That's attractive, but when overwhelmed, he becomes your entire existence, eliminating intrigue, freshness, and mystery. What starts and sustains a relationship? Only necessary. Dependence, neurotic attachment, and stifling. People are scared away, and all hope of a good love connection is gone. Please, which activities did you cease doing when he was around? When did you last see each friend? Have you ever put any goals on hold? Why? Was it something you assumed you had to do or something he asked you to do? Because we often are. We limit ourselves in sacrifice. We do this because we've seen it work to strengthen connections, unless requested otherwise. I must say that our mothers taught us that this is selfless love. True love doesn't need self-loss. The other wants you to. A true love song acknowledges your heart. Uniqueness remains, because a loving man wants you to be yourself. Be genuine, radiate, and evolve. She doesn't want a sequel, stripped of your essence to satisfy their vanity or anxieties. If the guy you're seeing gets annoyed or jealous when you get out with friends or girlfriends. Tasks that make you feel awful about not being available 24/7, then. Not to mention how a man's ownership is control, not love. Abuse and control go together. How can you regain your identity? Examine your life before him. Why were you laughing? What did you believe in? Who were you with? What were your future plans? Write everything down. Self-love versus emotional attachment. Next, reconnect with your old self, friend, and course. Return to your favorite hobby and do it without him, despite her anger or drama. This truth is vital to accept. A partnership isn't authentic if you can't be yourself. Spending the effort is worthwhile. End of discussion. If you must remain concealed, minimize your importance. Man shouldn't stay with you until he wants to. Being around that person is like being caged, but it may be alluring. Additionally, you were born into a cage, albeit a snug one. I'll offer another thing. As you construct your own path and rediscover who you are, you'll see. You can leave if you pursue your goals with friends. To reignite your attraction to the full woman you once were, or he'll see it as a danger and leave. Feel good if it disappears. You save yourself a lifetime of trouble, limitations, restrictions, and underperformance. Fourth, important women never ignore warning indicators. Red. This is crucial, my darling, since warning signs constantly standing, wildly waving, try and get your attention. Yet many women notice and choose. They consider, dismiss, minimize, and justify. They may be hallucinating things. You're right. Even flawless individuals have flaws. Flaws aren't warning signs. Issues are when something. Lower scale, healthier, and more manageable. He may snore, be messy, or be bad in the kitchen. A red flag may indicate a severe issue. Grave, a habit of dangerous behavior that could worsen. You must describe some common danger indicators for my list. Be honest with yourself while listening. If your spouse exhibits any of these behaviors, consider your relationship seriously. Envy is the first indicator. I'm talking about severe jealousy. Pathological jealousy causes him to continually check on you and ask where you are. The weather, your discussion companions, your activities, and the fact that he gets furious when you mention men, even co-workers, are all factors. Whether it's school, work, or with long-term friends, they browse your social media. Not envious of his baseless adultery charges in your texts. Love can cause control issues and insecurity. Get violent soon. Second warning, solitude. When he isolates you psychologically, emotionally, and socially. Subtly saying your friends are bad, your family is bad, and he may be subtle and desire more time alone with you, or he may be antagonistic and refuse to let you see certain people. Same result. You're stuck with him and have no one to help. Knowing who to turn to for aid when times become tough, and they will. Third warning sign, too much early passion. When he's infatuated with you, he calls you 10 times a day, wants to visit you daily, and names you the love of his life after 2 weeks of chatting to you. He wants immediate, meaningful pledges. Many women take this for granted. Despite genuine attachment, this indicates instability. Emotionally passionate, idealistic, and psychologically called a honeymoon phase during abuse. Such intensity leads to devaluation and abuse. Inability to control emotions is the fourth warning indication. He says, "You irritate me. You exacerbate my mood due to your. I'm sorry I'm acting this way," you remark, as if you can change his feelings. Wasn't responsible for supervision. Giving you power over someone you shouldn't is perilous. He will accuse you of taking on undeserved duties. Their fifth warning sign is any unfavorable life occurrence. Relationship issues. When his exes act irrationally, he'll do anything. The women were harsh, disloyal, and caused a separation. The fact that his unreasonable ex-girlfriend is likely the only thing he has in common with all those difficulties raises concerns. 2 instances may be random, but 3 or more reveal a pattern, which suggests he doesn't trust others. Sudden mood swings are the 6th warning sign of relationship failure. When you don't know which version of him you'll be with, you seem to go from happy to enraged without explanation. You see it often when you step cautiously to avoid triggering their negativity. that instability becomes apparent. Dealing with emotional stress can be exhausting. Fully and will always make you uneasy as you forecast their reactions, shifting your activity to avoid angering them. Empathy deficits are the eighth warning indication. He minimizes your feelings since he doesn't care or won't empathize. Senses when his needs are everything, while he ignores you or refuses to encourage you while you're depressed. A healthy connection built on empathy is easy to find. Just two people sharing an intimate space without empathy, connection, or intimacy. Mentally distant. I could continue. Love. I could give you 10 or 20 more warning flags, but you probably have 7 to evaluate your partnership impartially. Now comes the hard part. If you saw several, do you plan to address relationship warning signs? The issue isn't. Making the right move following identification is difficult. Even knowing the warning flags, many women stay, often because they have concern as they are smitten with his first impression. They believe they're there, have invested a lot in the connection, and can improve it. I understand your concerns. It's too late to start fresh. I understand, but staying with someone who shows warning flags is like gambling. Russian. I might get rich and he won't use force. We might meet someday. Verbal error, incorrect phrase, gesture. Things will boom. When it happens, you'll be in a tough spot. Cut off from society. Her confidence crushed. Leaving will be difficult. My advice, my personal and professional advice. Leave before you see anything unusual. Determine if a relationship emotionally drains you. Leave now before it's too late. Before sailing or marrying. Before you bought a house and became entirely dependent on each other. I guarantee that he will always try to make being apart feel impossible. In the future, leaving will be easier. Each day brings new responsibilities. Every decision you make together increases your bond, and I know it hurts. Though tears, longing, and uncertainty will persist, they will pass. Long-term destructive relationships don't reduce that pain. Years, letting it eat you up day by day. Anguish turns into a worthy lady expects it to become chronic, intrinsic, and deforming. She trusts her instincts when they warn her. She trusts her instincts. She answers appropriately and doesn't let rationalizations make her optimistic. Body intuition and instincts are ancient wisdom, trying to protect you. When you ignore those warnings, stop following your gut, and you expose yourself to many dangers. For the 6th point, I'll discuss manipulation and abuse. I want to underline something important if you follow me this far. Time shows you're ready to change despite the agony and discomfort. Though it makes you uncomfortable and pushes you to face unpleasant truths, you are willing to face them. And that, pal, since most would rather ignore it than face it, my darling, that is bravery. Reality. Relax, breathe deeply, and let everything happen. We're done. Relax. We'll continue when you're ready. There's more. 3 more things are important, transformative, and anyone can change your perspective drastically. Relating between men and yourself. 5thly, a successful woman would never hurt a man. Compete for his attention. He's not competitive with women, work, hobbies, or anything else. If she has to compete, a high-value lady realizes she is lost and uses her phone. Every day, especially on social media, I see women who, the fact that their partner loved another woman's photo drives them crazy. Women who constantly compare. Former partners, friends, and any woman he mentions. Look younger, thinner, prettier, and it may be because they think it will interest them. I must reveal something really important. It makes sense that a man would seek comfort in other women if he feels mistreated. He just doesn't want to commit to a relationship yet. Not because you're bad. He's a youngster at heart and emotionally immature. You can compete, but I'm testing the waters to see what's available. A man you truly love and value. Not only does he not place you in a position where you have to compete, but he also makes you feel comfortable and secure. While he's the solitary one, he's neither bragging or boasting. He's not just answering to your messages without reading them when comparing you. Some other man. When a man is authentic, adult, and secure in his desires. Since he found you, he has stopped seeking. Many women see signs of preoccupation, contrary to what many men think. Their attention is elsewhere. so they disregard the rudeness and restrictions. They become competitive, fixed, accessible, or more accommodating. They work hard, secure there. Competition makes you feel horrible, and they only disgrace themselves. Being treated that way by a man implies you're unworthy of his attention. Simply said, I feel inadequate in my current capacity and want to. I'm balancing to be noticed. That message, sweetheart, is toxicity for the attraction, which relies on security, happiness, self-confidence, self-worth, liberation from misery, abundance. 2. Disempowerment. Competing with other women for a man is like submitting to. Making him the center of attention while you play the competitors is a patriarchal trap. You believe women fight for men's favor. The lifestyles of other women don't offend you. A high-value lady does not compete. The man who puts her there is the problem. Think about it. If his acts seem impolite, tell him. If she leaves without trying to be someone else, superior to the rest, competing for their interest, showing there, she deserved it since she knew her worth and didn't need others to validate her. It's the same when he picks work, gaming, or phones over you. Some women can't take it when their lovers sit across from them when they get home, time on the phone, or watching TV without talking to them, and they try many tactics to get her attention, like creating her favorite cuisine and dressing provocatively. My attempt to engage him, including asking questions and making a scene, have failed since the issue isn't there. A high-value lady is the issue, but he's not involved, therefore it's you. She requires constant companionship and affirmation, which she hates. Aren't they dating? Two people in the same room, but very different thoughts. If he can't provide it, when he puts his phone down and looks at her, she knows they're not dating. Coexisting, modify, and routining but not authentic. Intimacy. Quitting is great when one understands they've been competing. You pause and ponder. Can this man see me? Does this man love me? Is he in our relationship? If so, how? If so, you can stay and compete or quit. You can keep pleading for attention or find someone who doesn't treat you like commodity if you feel compelled to compete from the start. He thought you were worth more than he paid for, and I promise you, once you stop competing, when you stop embarrassing yourself trying, in order to stimulate someone's interest, he either employs magic or he either changes his mind or leaves after realizing what he's losing. In both cases, you win either because you discover a man who finally respects and admires you, or because you can. 6 things a valuable lady will never do to a man. Accepting emotional crumbs is the worst thing you can do. When I go, I witness women who are pleased with the absolute minimum of physical and mental assistance from males because he texts you every 3 days to ask if you're okay, not how you're doing. He only sees you when it fits his schedule, but you can use them whenever. The initial versions failed because he was bored and refused to ask. Besides not making arrangements, he won't tell you about his family or other important things in the future with you, but occasionally he says something sweet, give you a gift, or does something else memorable. Maybe you're hoarding his genuine concern for you, ignoring his past evidence that you don't matter. Small doses of tenderness fill my life. These are emotional scraps, beautifully designed to captivate without providing substance, like treating a puppy with perhaps a cookie to keep him there, but not too much. As for you, little do you know, you become that dog waiting for its next food. Crumb, grateful for it, ignoring your death. As mentioned, intermittent reinforcement satisfies emotional hunger. Inconsistent. The brain becomes more attached when future affection displays are uncertain. Stronger than usual affection. This trait evolved to aid survival. Current dating trends prevent high-value women from accepting you. Rewire your brain to love yourself. Crumbs. She asserts her need for attention by demanding the whole feast or refusing. Genuine concern, dedication, and continuous support. And if a man can only give her partial connections when it's convenient, he can't give her that. Many women are afraid to ask for more because they fear the male would take advantage of them. They prefer having something, even if it lowers standards. Being content with less is the biggest mistake. Anything is better than nothing. Instead of avoiding loneliness, you're overwhelmed by it. You are unfairly treated. Being with someone and still lonely is the worst. Manners. Do you know how many women visit my clinic reporting increased? Are they more likely to spend time alone with their spouse than when single? Being lonely is different from being alone. When alone, but when you're calm, being alone doesn't harm. Actually, it is even. Very nicely. This is your area. To find yourself and pursue your passions without pressure, like you're against a wall. But when you're lonely in a relationship, being physically accompanied but emotionally abandoned is terrible loneliness. You keep thinking you should be online, but ignore it. Even if someone is supposed to fill you up, you still feel empty, which hurts the most. Thus, a high-value woman values solitude. She prefers solitude and serenity. Anger makes her want to stay home alone and avoid people. You feel empty after saying, "No more crumbs, I need," and ending a relationship with someone who isn't there. Your life will change drastically if you stop substance or nothing. No point in chasing a dead-end relationship. You cease investing in a man who doesn't support you emotionally, willing to invest all that effort and time. Instead, use that energy to improve yourself, broaden your horizons, and find someone who pays fairly. I also wish to mention that, though harsh, it's true. Sometimes we settle for crumbs because we can't. With low self-esteem, we think crumbs are all we get and deserve more. Be successful. The real work is there, dear. You must work, not him. Increase your self-esteem to the point that you expect the best from others. Furthermore, while your self-esteem will rise when you accept yourself, it's inevitable. Throw out crumb-seeking men. No relationship with them should be contemplated. That is, until you realize they won't pay. Necessary yet uninteresting items. Your innate radar detects hazardous types before they may hurt you. That's neuroplasticity. Darling, retraining your brain is feasible. You're capable. Change your habits, default reactions, and attractor. You're capable. Regularly seek out healthy, positive males over poisonous ones. Could cultivate unique brain circuits linking emotion to security instead, love and anxiety. That requires therapy and conscious effort. Give yourself time and patience. And finally, the seventh guideline is that a valuable woman should never presume a guy values her. A respected woman. Before he arrives, his worth is known. He is valuable not because, should he love her and stay, she has a constant value. This point may be the most important because it underpins everything we've covered today. About this, if you know your worth, seeking approval from others is unnecessary. The appropriate person will discover you because you deserve it. You wouldn't justify mistreatment if you knew your worth. You gain power by knowing you deserve respect. If you knew your worth, you wouldn't become lost in a relationship. That no one can claim your identity. If you knew your worth, you wouldn't. You would ignore warning flags since you know you don't have to settle with a sick person. Knowing your worth. Knowing someone is watching you eliminates the need to compete. No cost or value. You wouldn't accept crumbs if you knew your worth. You deserve the entire feast. Can you see the links? Everything boils down to realizing your value underpins this concept. The issue is this. Home is a culture that constantly tells women their value depends on. These people, whose worth depends on appearance, age, and being ability to attract, hold, and satisfy a man, her value as a wife, mother, and kid. Caregiving can bring you delight from all of those things, and significance, but not your worth. My love, your value lies in the being human is special and unique, with unique skills, experiences, and perspectives. Your worth comes from this capacity includes love, thinking, producing, and growing. Who you are determines your worth, not your actions. However, we were taught the opposite from childhood. We were raised to seek acceptance and behave properly so we could. Our father would love us, to look good, so guys would choose us, to succeed in school and obtain good grades. As spouses, husbands would appreciate us. After several years, conditioning is a result of years of proving your worth. Accepting your worth is hard. It was always inside waiting for you. And probably no one has told you this, but I'll say it. Not feeling it yet? That's okay. Feel free to read and I say, yes, it sounds nice in theory, but I don't feel valuable. Typical and expected. Self-esteem is not innate, a podcast or news report. It's built gradually. Every day, action by action, decision by decision. When you limit, your self-esteem improves. Once you reject an undesired offer, your self-esteem improves. When you break up with a mistreater, as you act, your confidence will grow. Regularly doing activities that make you joyful will convince your brain. Rewire your brain to associate being yourself with bravery, respect, and dignity. Once you realize you're worth it, no matter what, your life changes when you stop looking for anything and no one else cares. No longer do you feel incomplete without someone else grovel for adoration, or your wholeness makes me desperate for a man. Your innate power attracts varied connections. You attract guys who are whole, have strong self-esteem, and want to enrich their lives. You attract people for mutual benefit, not necessity. Silent love, the kind that such love doesn't ache, keep you up at night. Or you discover the hard way that real love isn't about drama and complexities, not an emotional roller coaster, but chaotically intense. True love is peaceful. Level up your love life. You can be yourself and feel secure when you know you are loved always. I concur completely. Please consider anything promptly, with one voice. Please contemplate these 7 points throughout our chat. Competing, losing, justifying abuse, stalking. To feel valued, gain attention, and accept offers. So how many? Tell me your recent activities. Don't be so hard on yourself. You deserve better. Start with acknowledgement. Changing something starts with recognition. So, if you don't have paper, do the activity mentally. Also, be honest with yourself. Which of the 7 have you done? What are you doing? More importantly, why do you practice? For what? Your goal was to satisfy what emotional need? For what fear were you seeking comfort? Which ways do you see yourself? How was that behavior developed? Because nothing happens in a vacuum. Every action has no matter broken, it's useful. Pursuing a man, your fear that he won't find you unless you do may be the reason. The fear that you're not attractive enough to attract a mate causes that anxiety. If you may justify the abuse, since your mother did the same when your father was abusive. Love is like this, you learned. You may be in the relationship because you're unclear on, have you ever questioned who you are without your relationships and been afraid to face that emptiness? Oh, my love, certain things have deep roots. Each has a story and role. These root reasons must be understood to heal. Venerate them whether they helped you survive before and then. You no longer need them. What held you afloat in your youth is irrelevant. It may be preventing you from living fully as an adult. I must pause again to share important information. If you decide after hearing this that you are, never try to cure profound wounds, unhealed traumas, or unbroken patterns. Proceed alone. Get help from a psychologist, therapist, or other professional. Remain with you during recovery. That's not. Being sensible involves seeking help, not weakness. Understanding that some routes are, because they are too difficult to navigate alone, you should bring someone with the right gear. Me, after 40 years in profession, I know that treatment changes lives. Cognitive behavioral therapy saves lives. In my field, there are powerful tools for changing one's mind. Behavior. Find nonsensical ideas instead of ranting about your problems. Question them. Replace them with more practical ideas. And lastly, implement new habits which finally become automatic. For instance, if you believe incorrectly that, will find its origins since happiness requires a guy. If such notion emerged, we would seek evidence to challenge it. Something more realistic, like, I could be whole and happy on my own. A partner makes sense. A nice extra, but not necessary. Following are acts that match that. Fresh conviction. When alone, you may think about what makes you happy. Learn to rely less on yourself. You might construct a loving life without a marriage, with time and practice. Your new belief will become reality with practice. Human mind, replace it. Neuroplasticity at work. No, you haven't fixed your brain. predestined to repeat patterns forever. Change it as needed. Formation of new neuronal connections requires purposeful action. Repeating requires patience. I know many of you want to talk about, you may ask, but Walter, what if I've already messed up? What if I've already done all these things you mentioned? What am I missing? What if I hunted before? Has it been proven? Am I confused yet? Had warning indicators been ignored? Out of time. In addition, my response. Every day is an opportunity. If you're alive and can choose, you can turn your life around. You may have acted foolishly. You may have endured. You shouldn't have tolerated. That was then. You may have wasted time on unworthy people. It has. It is now. You also got new knowledge, insight, and knowing this can affect your decisions. You can end an unhealthy relationship, tear it apart. You can end your years-long bad relationship today. Your scenario is it too late to start over in your 50s or 60s? Not true, based on my observations. Older women rethinking their life and ending partnerships. Generations discover their own self and enjoy life because it's never too late. No late-life crisis exists for self-love and dignity. I'll tell you something. Time will make it harder, not because it's physically impossible, but because a bad environment drags you down every day. Today is self-esteem drops more. It's just another day, so you adjust. Absolutely horrible. So make the required life changes now. No, today, not next week, when he evolves, or under what conditions. Outstanding perfection. Since ideal circumstances never happen, and he may never, change is coming. You rule your life with absolute power. Decisions. I want you to understand something fundamental. Once you stop doing those 7 things, no manipulation intended. Trying to make him pursue you is foolish. So he'll love and appreciate you more. That's not it. Goal. Your happiness, serenity, and mental health are most important. Dignity. Because it's a plan. If you stop chasing him, you succeed if he respects and values you after you set restrictions. Maintaining the same verification requirement from additional sources. What you are, still valuing their response. That's ineffective. Such change doesn't exist. When you give up on something that's pointless, you've made a difference. Regardless of what happens, setting boundaries to maintain your calm makes a difference. What matters is his reaction. You'll improve when you realize you deserve more and leave a poisonous person, because you don't expect his pursuit. Therein lays the difference. Surface and subsurface changes. It is true, realizing your worth and changing can lead to, after accepting what he is giving up, the man often changes his behavior. That shouldn't be your motivation. It's a bonus. The real reason is mental health. For your life, health, I wish he changed. Have one chance to excel. What happens if he doesn't change, leaves, or if he rejects your bounds? You learned something crucial. You weren't his type. Doing this now could have saved you a lot of misery before you're married. Children with joint mortgages. You shouldn't worry about losing him if he leaves while you express your value. Nothing valuable was lost, yet was weighty, draining your energy. Also, you may finally, a better choice. You're good at self-improvement and healthy relationships. The solution works. I want to relate something many ladies go through as they adjust. Resistance. Your family and friends' unwillingness. Even if you resist, when you resolve to change, when you demand respect and set limits, people who like the previous version, he will awkwardly place you. Your complexity has risen, he'll say. Attracting satisfying partnerships. Demanding. Your loved ones will say you're faking it, and every couple has them. Issues which require more empathy. Your loved ones, especially, because it makes them assess themselves. Toxic relationships. Your change will threaten others. Personal decisions. Time will come when you doubt yourself. Maybe I'm being dramatic, or maybe I want too much. Maybe I should be more accommodating. Right now, my beloved, you must become more robust and memorize what you've learned. As mentioned previously, you must trust yourself above all else at that point, since those who criticize you for setting boundaries, Those who respected your perseverance in demanding respect gained from your insensitivity. Restricted people liked your selfless image, silencing her and making her settle for less. They don't understand, regardless of their opinion. Your personal reluctance may also be a factor. The hardest part is missing the toxic connection and sometimes idealizing the other person. When with a wrongdoer, you ignore the harm and focus on the good moments. It's normal to grieve and not return. Your brain is still analyzing the absence of familiar object, even if it was unpleasant. Keeping a record of your activities' motivations is helpful here. Why you left, what you didn't like, and the worst moments. Because you can handle more when you're nostalgic and your mind rewrites the story. Rereading that notebook will reveal the truth and make it even more beautiful. Have a support system and remember the anguish that drove you to leave. Solid friendships involve pals who know and love you but don't. Friends who can say, "Hey, you're," without self-deception are crucial. Overcoming your anguish with him. Remember your reasons for leaving. Companions. Real golden balls. Remember to love and care for. Also a female buddy. Developing self-worth has a beautiful side effect. Realizing other ladies value you organically happens. Additionally, you stop seeing other women as rivalry and become sisters, friends, and allies throughout this difficult path of femininity on Earth. And that change, this perspective will help all the women in your life, including yourself. Now I want to talk. Target female listeners 45 to 60, because I know many of you are in a certain stage of life. Is possible? All of their children are adults. They may be experiencing hormone body or society's view of them, and maybe they feel less valuable now that they're older. As wrinkles appear, they can't have children. You're at your career peak. Peak power. Come on, you've played for decades. Self-knowledge, insight. Finding their identity is no longer important. They know what they like. What do they need if they can endure it? Their experiences are sufficient. Relationships, enough experience to tell true from fake? Not so. They no longer accept nonsense due to time and patience constraints. That's raw force. Our culture values women's youth and sexual potential, but there are other issues. Boosting fertility. As those items decay, we think our value decreases. Quite the contrary. A lie designed to make us uneasy, so we buy more. Prevention of aging. So we cling to any guy we can find in the erroneous notion that we will never be able to. Yet another. However, many decent men exist. Real men who value your belongings. Background, breadth, autonomy, prosperity. Men fed up with young women's drama. Being apprehensive. Man seeks partner, peer, or someone to have fascinating conversations, go on excursions, and enjoy the stage of life together. Who cares if they don't meet those guys? Being single is fine. Synonymous with failure. One definition of freedom is single. One can live freely without external interference on the path to enlightenment. Few of my happiest women are unmarried 50-year-olds, 1960s, who have spent decades serving others and are now living fully. Also, for long-term partners who are unhappy but frightened to break up, you can stop, whether it's habit, fear, or a lack of knowledge. You can still have that tough talk with your spouse if things change. This isn't working for me. I need it to change. I'm leaving. Scary. Quite terrifying. Beside each other after 20 to 30 years together. Are you aware of the terrible thing? In our 70s and 80s, we can reflect. Understand that your hesitation to change caused decades of suffering. Make sure fear should not stop you. Avoid safety nets. Avoid the individual who. Stop, they say. You own your life. You must make yourself happy and never. You can choose yourself anytime. Now, let me tell you. Here are some tried and true ways and handy resources that you may put to use right immediately. Overcome the 7 issues and boost your self-esteem. The key tactic, try it in the mirror. Stand in front of the mirror daily. Say, I adore myself, I value myself, and I am deserving, while looking in your eyes. The best. You may initially feel stupid and chuckle at yourself, seeing how long it has been since you told yourself would make you cry. Take care of yourself. Take action regardless of weather. Remember that exercising a belief doesn't mean you should believe it yet. Your brain can't distinguish them. Repeating it will bring it back. The second strategy, based on mutual respect, is to evaluate his feelings before helping him. Do you mind helping me? If not, don't. It's easy. Stop risking your life until he's ready. Stop giving till you get. Willing to sacrifice something significant for you. A healthy relationship requires equal effort from both parties. Third method, keep a pattern journal with all your conversations with him. A few letters per day. What happened? How did you feel? How about that? He searches a journal weekly for trends. You always initiate contact. Boss, do you notice how you feel after spending time with him? Listen, boss, you always justify his acts. Recognizing patterns and intentionally changing them is the fourth strategy. The timeout procedure. When desired, please contact him, write to him, or take an hour or day off. Do not check his email or interact with him. Don't waste time on WhatsApp browsing their social media or texting them. That benefits you. Read a book, visit with a friend, walk, practice yoga, whatever makes you happy. Do what reconnects you. Then determine if you want to stay in touch. Sometimes the inclination is gone and the fear is brief. The fifth strategy is to list everything that cannot be compromised. Indications you will not maintain a romantic relationship, including physical or sexual violence, adultery, or complete separation. A final message about women's strength, deception, honesty, or anything else you dislike. You can share this list with your spouse or save it for dating or a serious relationship. Nothing on that list is reversible. To be non-negotiable means to exclude negotiation. 6. Build a 2 or 3 person trustworthy circle. Those you trust completely, those who know you. When you mistrust your connection, they convince you that they care and want your best interests. Talk to them when you're unsure if something is serious or dramatic. Tell them the truth without sugarcoating or minimizing, and listen. Looking outdoors can reveal hidden secrets inside. The seventh technique, self-investment, is obvious. For every $1, if you're spending on him, double it on yourself. 2 hours per hour spent on relationships should be spent on personal growth. Take that class, read that book, attend that workshop, or engage with that coach to improve yourself. Try therapy, a massage, or anything else that helps you grow and feel wonderful. Investing in oneself promotes self-esteem and reminds you of your value. When your self-esteem rises, you can't tolerate the horrible. I also want something different. You can't guarantee your partnership by implementing these plans. You'll likely change your conduct when one spouse demands respect and restrictions, relationships suffer. The current situation is ending, which may be unpleasant, worrisome, and make you wonder if. Let me tell you that if your relationship fails because of you, as you appreciated the relationship, it was time to terminate it, because putting limits ends every healthy connection. Setting limitations is crucial to a great relationship for an adult male. His love for you is unconditional. He will respect your space and be grateful you met someone. He will be relieved that you are taking care of him and not making him do everything. A man who is immature, poisonous. Or, he used your weakness. Now he will attack you, guilt you into submission, and accuse you of. You become cold and unfeeling. He will do his hardest to restore you to your previous self. And if he succeeds, he will have succeeded. If you give up on your new restrictions, everything will return to its old state, or worse, because he knows he can. Led you astray by making you abandon your honor. When you face opposition, which, keep in mind that opposition is information, it indicates development and, finally, bravery hurts. But you are doing it. Even though it hurts, you must continue because you, the one you've always imagined, strong, confident, dignified, complete, and why. I'd like to discuss this under-discussed issue that affects many women. You may regret what could have been after a breakup. Changing the dynamics of a relationship means giving up the partnership in the way you wanted. You're giving up your future. Everything you thought about him changing, things improving, and being with him is gone. I enjoy his company, and that loss is real. Losing someone means losing a way of life along with them. Sadness is normal about what happened to their goals, ambitions, and futures. feeling sad, angry, and annoyed. Every emotion is normal and required for rehabilitation. But which isn't? It's okay to be sad. Using that sadness is wrong. To justify returning to instability. Mourning hurts briefly, but gets easier with time, support, and effort. After a while, you'll start to feel better emotionally, and the bad days will start to fade away. Days like these will pass, and you'll begin to recall your life before he entered it. To see an other reality where you find fulfillment without him. Continuing to neglect personal development to avoid loss is a recipe for disaster. Endless torment, poisonous relationship agony. Betraying yourself and accepting less than you deserve is a lifelong agony. This agony becomes excruciating until you accept it. You realize you've been suffering emotionally for a while. The sorrow of loss. Weep until you weep, but refrain from turning around. Instead, continue on, small steps and all. Because every day without him is a day spent alone. You can only get out of bed. You must work on yourself to live the life you deserve. To all mothers, I know many of you stay in abusive circumstances because you believe, since young children benefit from adult company, both parents think you should tolerate the couple's problems so they can have a good connection, a secure setting where the kids can grow up. And here's something else. Despite others' affection and respect, their children gain nothing by seeing their parents suffer. Dirty environments teach nothing good. Mothers who accept abuse or disrespect. She encourages her kids to negate herself this way. Love works. If they have girls, next generations will learn healthy relationship conduct. Sons replicate your daughter's breakups because they learn its appropriate behavior toward women. Like yours, kids don't learn differently, so they'll treat their partners like you. They absorb your words and their surroundings. If they see a mother falls short, takes less than they should, and doesn't value themselves. As a result, contrary to what many believe, parents should put their own health before their kids. Kids need to understand that their mom values limits and puts herself first. Mom will not tolerate disrespect. The goal is to teach youngsters that no matter how hard, despite her fear, mom can make brave choices to protect herself. Their lives will improve, and ending a relationship will help. Toxic, logistically challenging, financial constraints, potential adjustments. From their homes, schools, and everyday routines, despite initial resistance. After things calm down at home, they will miss their father, even if the relationship was rough. Everything calms down when mom is less agitated and conflicted. Children are resilient and prefer being happy and present, but they can and will adapt. 2 harmonious households are better than 1 in conflict. If I left, he'd betray me, exploit the kids, and to make my life impossible. I understand. That's reasonable concern. Indeed, especially in a relationship with a manipulative or cruel person. If he scares you, leave immediately. When they control you, they abuse you, and it will get worse. It gets harder as things worsen. Leave before staying. Then get a lawyer. Contact groups that create an escape strategy and document everything. They aid women like you. Stay safe and strong for your kids. Do not be paralyzed by fear. It's the best weapon. You can overcome your concerns and escape an abuser. You can succeed like many women before you. Please comment on what you'll do after watching this video and which part spoke to you most. Implement it today. I answer the best ones. Act now and inform someone who needs if it helps. Click here and I'll show you how to do this in the future video.